Every morning, life gives you a blank page. But most people wake up and write fear, doubt, and limitations all over it before they even leave the bed. What if instead you started each day by programming your mind with power? What if your first thoughts weren't about your problems but about your potential? The words you speak to yourself shape your world more than any external force ever could. In the silence of those first few waking moments lies the key to either mediocrity or greatness. If you want to command your day instead of chase it, then it starts with mastering your morning self-talk. These 3 statements, when spoken from the heart every morning, don't just change your day, they change your identity. I am not my past. Today, I begin again is more than just a morning mantra. It is a profound declaration of personal liberation, a reset button for the soul that shatters the invisible chains holding you to yesterday's mistakes, heartbreaks, regrets, or missed opportunities. Too often, we rise from sleep carrying the emotional weight of our history like a burden strapped to our backs. Memories of things we wish we had done, words we wish we had said, chances we didn't take, or pain we did. We replay our failures like broken records, convincing ourselves that who we were is all we'll ever be. But this affirmation stops that destructive cycle in its tracks. It's a spiritual and psychological interruption that says, I refuse to be haunted by who I was when I have the power to choose who I become. When you tell yourself that you are not your past, you are separating your identity from your history. You are saying that your essence is not defined by the errors, the rejections, the traumas, or even the accomplishments of yesterday. The past may have shaped your experiences, but it does not own your destiny. Just as a river is not defined by the rocks it flows over, your spirit is not defined by the obstacles it has faced. Every morning, when your eyes open, life offers you a blank page. And with this affirmation, you are choosing to pick up the pen and write something new. You are giving yourself permission to start fresh. Not just in your actions, but in your mindset, your energy, your beliefs. You are allowing yourself the grace to let go of the version of you that had to survive hard seasons, who may have made poor choices, trusted the wrong people, or tolerated what you no longer accept. You are no longer interested in being the victim of your past. You are now the author of your future. This simple phrase, "Today I begin again," unlocks hope. It tells your brain to release guilt, shame, and fear. It tells your nervous system to calm down because the war is over. It tells your heart that it's safe to believe again, to try again, to live again. The world will try to remind you of your past. People may try to hold it over you, but you owe no one an explanation for your growth. You are not obligated to remain who others remember you to be. And this is the gift of self-renewal. You get to redefine yourself on your terms every single day. You may have failed yesterday, but today you rise as a new person, wiser, stronger, and more awake. You may have tolerated disrespect yesterday, but today you draw new boundaries because you've recognized your worth. You may have doubted yourself yesterday, but today you choose courage, even in the face of uncertainty. Beginning again doesn't mean forgetting everything you've been through. It means finally learning from it and using it as fuel to become the most powerful version of you. Your past is not your prison. It is your teacher. And when class is over, it's time to graduate and move forward. Tell yourself this every morning, not because your life is perfect, but because you are perfectly capable of starting again. Every sunrise is proof from the universe that no matter how dark the night was, light always returns, and with it, a second chance. No matter how far you've fallen, there is still time to rise. No matter how many wrong turns you took, the road ahead still stretches with possibility. So instead of waking up with regret in your chest, rise with resilience in your spirit. Look in the mirror and remind yourself, I may not be proud of everything in my past, but I am proud of the decision I'm making right now to begin again. Your transformation doesn't require permission from anyone, only the willingness to change your thoughts, your words, and your choices, starting now. You are not your past relationships. You are not your failures. You are not your bad habits. You are not your childhood wounds. You are not your old story. You are a living, breathing miracle. And today, this very moment, is your chance to walk into a new story with your head held high and your heart open wide. Let the old version of you rest in peace, because the new version has just awakened. And it is filled with fire, faith, and forward motion. Every morning is a sacred reset button, but most people live on repeat. This declaration breaks the cycle of regret and limitation. When you remind yourself that you are not your past failures, heartbreaks, or missed chances, you reclaim the ability to act powerfully in the present. Say it with conviction. I am not bound by who I used to be. I am free to reinvent, recreate, and restart. This mindset doesn't ignore your history. It simply refuses to be defined by it. Let this be the fuel that transforms your mornings from routines into rebirths. Everything I need is already inside me. It's not just a comforting affirmation. It is a radical act of self-empowerment that cuts through the noise of a world constantly telling you that you are not enough. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded by messages convincing us that we must chase something outside ourselves. Approval, money, status, likes, relationships, credentials, before we can finally feel worthy, secure, or successful. But the truth is, no external source can give you what your soul already possesses. This declaration reminds you that you are not empty or broken or lacking. You are equipped, full, and complete. You have within you a wellspring of wisdom, strength, intuition, creativity, and resilience that is just waiting to be activated. It's not that you need to become someone else. It's that you need to remember who you already are. Beneath the doubt, beneath the conditioning, beneath the noise. When you speak these words each morning, you are flipping a mental switch that moves you from desperation to direction, from fear to focus, from scarcity to sufficiency. It tells your nervous system you are safe, you are capable, you are already enough. No more waiting for someone to believe in you. You believe in you. No more looking for signs. You are the sign. No more begging for opportunities. You create them. The truth is, the moment you stop searching outside yourself and start mining the treasures within, your entire life begins to shift. That confidence you seek, it's already in you, buried beneath layers of self-doubt. That courage you admire in others, it's in you too, waiting to be summoned in moments of truth. That peace you're chasing through distractions and validation, it lives within your breath, your silence, your presence. Every morning you tell yourself, everything I need is already inside me. You chip away at the illusion that you are powerless. And the more you say it, the more your actions begin to reflect it. You start speaking with clarity, walking with purpose, making decisions from a place of wholeness, not woundedness. Even when life throws chaos your way, this affirmation grounds you. You stop reacting from fear and start responding from power. You realize you don't have to have all the answers, because wisdom grows through action. You don't have to be fearless, because courage exists in choosing to act despite fear. And you don't have to be perfect, because growth is found in showing up, flawed, human, and evolving. When you internalize this truth, you stop outsourcing your power and start embodying it. You stop saying, if only I had more time, more support, more knowledge, and you start saying, what I have is enough to begin. This mindset doesn't ignore challenges. It simply refuses to believe that the solution lies anywhere outside of your own hands, heart and mind. You become dangerous to your limitations. You become immune to comparison. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces that weren't built for your brilliance. You realize that waiting is a lie dressed as patience. And the longer you wait for someone else to unlock your potential, the more of your life slips through your fingers. So instead, you rise. You rise with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth, who trusts their process, and who honors their inner voice above all else. You understand that the world reflects what you believe about yourself, and so you choose to believe in your internal abundance, your divine wiring, your innate genius. You are not lacking, you are layered. Every skill can be sharpened. Every weakness can be strengthened. Every fear can be faced. And all of that is possible because you already hold the raw material. You don't need to fake it till you make it. You need to trust it till you tap it. And everything you need to create the life you envision, the relationships you desire, and the peace you crave is already built into your being. So when the world tries to distract you, diminish you, or delay you, this single truth becomes your anchor. I don't need to chase what I already carry. And when you live from this internal source, you become unshakable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Every time you look in the mirror and say, everything I need is already inside me, you awaken a deeper level of self-belief, self-respect, and self-leadership that can't be bought, taught, or borrowed. It is yours, and it has always been there. Most people wake up searching validation from others, strength from circumstances, or peace from external outcomes. But this affirmation brings you back to your internal power source. By telling yourself that you already possess the wisdom, courage, and resilience to overcome anything, you shift from dependency to mastery. You stop waiting and start activating. This truth becomes your armor. Nothing out there can defeat you when everything you need is already in here. Confidence becomes automatic when you stop seeking and start owning. Today, I move with purpose, not permission. It's more than a morning affirmation. It's a personal revolution, a shift from hesitation to boldness, from seeking validation to owning your voice, from standing still in fear to walking forward in full intention. Too many people wake up and immediately hand over their power to the opinions, expectations, and judgments of others. Waiting for the green light to pursue their dreams, the applause to confirm their worth, the agreement of others to legitimize their choices. But greatness is never born in hesitation. It lives in the hearts of those who dare to act before they are told it's okay. This affirmation is a reminder that your purpose is not up for debate. You were not born to ask for permission to be yourself. You don't need approval to speak your truth, to take the next step, to walk away from what drains you, or to create something the world has never seen. Purpose is not passive. It doesn't sit quietly in the corner hoping someone notices. Purpose moves. Purpose disrupts. Purpose walks into the room with conviction, even when knees are shaking. And every morning you choose to say, today, I move with purpose, not permission. You are telling the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are done waiting. Done waiting for the perfect timing. Done waiting for the right circumstances. Done waiting to feel fully ready. You're done waiting for the doubters to become believers, or for the people who never understood your vision to suddenly clap for your growth. You're done trying to shrink yourself into spaces too small for your calling. From now on, your energy moves differently. You don't explain yourself to people who don't see your value. You don't dim your light to make others feel comfortable. You don't ask for the world to understand before you act. You act because you understand what you're here to do. Moving with purpose means you carry your why like a compass, and every step is intentional, even if the destination isn't fully visible. It means you prioritize impact over image and principles over popularity. It means you're willing to be misunderstood, doubted, or even ridiculed, if it means staying aligned with your higher path. Because the truth is, most people never live the life they truly desire, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they're still waiting to be allowed to. But when you move with purpose, you become unstoppable. Not because everything is easy, but because you've decided that your mission matters more than your fear. Purpose doesn't ask for comfort, it demands courage. And every day you show up with this mindset, you become more magnetic, more focused, more alive. You walk into rooms with your head high, not because you're arrogant, but because you finally remembered your value. You speak your truth, not because you want to be loud, but because silence has cost you too much in the past. You take action on your ideas, not because you're guaranteed success, but because inaction is no longer an option. You realize that your dreams are not up for negotiation, and your time is too valuable to waste seeking validation from people who don't even understand your vision. When you move with purpose, the right people start aligning with you, not because you chase them, but because your energy, your clarity, and your momentum called them in. You stop operating from desperation and start moving with divine direction. You become the leader of your own life, not waiting to be chosen, but choosing yourself every single day. And it all starts the moment you wake up and declare, "Today, I move with purpose, not permission." That one sentence is the difference between another wasted day and a life on fire with meaning. It sets the tone. It sends a signal to your brain, your body, and the universe that you are no longer passive, no longer waiting, no longer apologizing for your existence. You are here for a reason. You are here to lead, to create, to build, to heal, to serve, to inspire, and you don't need anyone else to co-sign that truth. So stand tall, walk boldly, speak clearly, act decisively. Let today be the day you stop waiting for a seat at someone else's table and start building your own. Because when you move with purpose, not permission, life begins to move with you. How many dreams are delayed because someone is still waiting for the green light from others? This affirmation destroys hesitation and awakens inner authority. Telling yourself that you don't need to be liked, approved, or validated to take action gives you the freedom to move boldly and unapologetically. Purpose doesn't ask for permission, it just moves. Let this truth ignite your mornings with a sense of mission. When you wake up, knowing you are here on purpose, for a purpose, distractions fade and clarity rises. The idea of speaking truth to oneself each morning is not a modern self-help trend, but a timeless spiritual practice, deeply rooted in ancient religions, sacred texts, and the historical pursuit of self-mastery across civilizations. For centuries, sages, prophets, and philosophers have understood that the first words you speak upon waking are not merely casual thoughts, but divine seeds planted into the soil of your day and eventually your destiny. In the Bible, King David declared in Psalm 5:3, "In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait in expectation," highlighting the sacred rhythm of early day reflection, prayer, and intentional speech. Similarly, Jesus would often rise before dawn to pray in solitude, Mark 1:35, setting a precedent for morning alignment with spiritual purpose. In the Quran, the concept of Fajr, the pre-dawn prayer, is considered one of the most spiritually potent times to connect with Allah, emphasizing clarity, remembrance, and intention at the break of light. The Prophet Muhammad encouraged believers to begin each morning with dua, supplication, affirming trust in God and clarity of mission for the day ahead. These spiritual practices mirror the essence of saying, I am not my past. Today, I begin again, which reflects the biblical call for daily renewal in Lamentations 3:23. His mercies are new every morning. Across faiths, the morning is seen not as a continuation of yesterday, but as a sacred doorway into redemption, a fresh start offered by divine grace. In Hinduism, the tradition of pratashmaran, early morning chanting and self-remembrance, includes mantras such as Aham Brahmasmi, I am divine, which align deeply with the affirmation, everything I need is already inside me. The Bhagavad Gita encourages introspection and self-realization at dawn, reminding followers that the divine self, the Atman, resides within, eternally whole and complete. Similarly, in Buddhism, monks begin the day with chants and meditation, focusing on mindfulness, impermanence, and the inherent power within each being to awaken their own enlightenment, paralleling the idea that strength and wisdom are not external pursuits but internal discoveries. In Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and thinker, wrote his morning reflections in what we now call meditations, preparing his mind for challenges with phrases like, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This historical precedent affirms the modern affirmation, "Today I move with purpose, not permission," because it centers the authority of action within the individual, not in the hands of society or circumstance. The Egyptians practiced morning rituals honoring the sun god Ra, rising with the sun as a symbol of rebirth and personal resurrection, while the Native American tradition honors dawn as a sacred time to realign with the Creator and ancestors through prayer and self-declaration. Even in ancient Chinese philosophy, Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching urges one to align with the flow of the Tao each morning through quiet presence and deliberate thought, a practice mirrored in the martial traditions of Shaolin monks, who begin each day in disciplined silence, movement, and inward affirmation. In every culture, from African tribal customs to Eastern mysticism, the morning is revered not just as a time to rise physically, but to rise spiritually and psychologically. The act of telling oneself powerful truths before the world tells you who you are is a spiritual defense against chaos, distraction, and self-forgetting. These three affirmations, rooted in divine renewal, inner divinity, and purposeful living, are universal echoes of humanity's highest truths. To say, "I am not my past," is to claim the grace embedded in every sacred tradition that speaks of forgiveness, redemption, and rebirth. To say, "Everything I need is already inside me," is to mirror the mystical insight of prophets and sages who taught that the kingdom of God, the divine essence, the light of consciousness, it all lives within. And to declare, "Today I move with purpose, not permission," is to walk the path of every spiritual warrior, prophet, reformer, or revolutionary who rose not because the world allowed them to, but because truth compelled them to move. This is not just motivation, it is an echo of eternity, a daily covenant with God, the self, and the soul to live awake, aligned and anchored in truth. When you speak these affirmations each morning, you are not just rewiring your brain, you are rejoining an ancient, sacred lineage of people who knew that every sunrise is more than a new day. It's another chance to become who you are always meant to be. So, as the sun rises and the world wakes up with its noise, its demands, and its distractions, you rise with something deeper. A knowing, a fire, a truth that is no longer negotiable. You are not your past. Everything you need is already inside you, And today, you move with purpose, not permission. This isn't just a collection of nice words or temporary morning hype. This is your foundation, your new operating system, your spiritual armor as you walk into a world that tries every single day to convince you that you're not enough, not ready, or not worthy. But you know better now. You are no longer the prisoner of yesterday's mistakes, heartbreaks, or missed chances. You've buried the version of you that lived on autopilot and apologized for existing. You've forgiven yourself not because the past didn't hurt, but because your future deserves peace. And when you say, "Today I begin again," it's not weakness, it's rebirth. It's the sound of a soul that refuses to be bound by anything less than who they were created to become. You understand now that life isn't about having a flawless history. It's about having the courage to rewrite your story every morning if necessary. And from that place of renewal, you no longer wake up searching for outside answers or external solutions, because you've turned inward and discovered a deeper truth. Everything you need is already inside you. The peace you chased, the confidence you admired, the strength you thought belonged to others, all of it was quietly waiting inside you the whole time, covered by self-doubt and buried beneath years of seeking approval. But now you remember. You remember that you were never lacking, only distracted. That your voice carries weight, your thoughts carry power, and your intuition is not a whisper, it's a compass. You stop chasing what you already carry. You start walking with the kind of inner clarity that can be bought, taught, or borrowed, because it was yours from the beginning. And with that internal strength ignited, you no longer ask the world for permission to be who you are. Today you move with purpose. You don't wait to be validated before you speak, create, lead, or heal. You don't shrink to make others comfortable, and you don't delay your calling because someone else can't see your vision. You've realized that waiting is just a disguised fear, and purpose doesn't wait. It acts, it builds, it breathes life into every step you take. You are done tiptoeing around your own destiny. You're no longer interested in being liked. You're here to be lit, to be a spark, a force, a living example of what it looks like when someone reclaims their time, their worth, their soul. You're not interested in fitting in when you were born to stand out. And you're not playing small just to avoid criticism. Because your purpose is bigger than people's opinions. You now understand that when you move in alignment with who you truly are, the right opportunities, relationships, and resources begin to move toward you. Not because you chased them, but because you became the kind of person they are meant to find. Every breath you take today is powered by that trinity of truth. You are free from your past, full within yourself, and fiercely committed to living on purpose. And even if the world